So you are ready to come and volunteer for the first camp. This is level 1, camp 1. Basically what it means is children have no clue what they're going to do. Almost everything is going to be a surprise to them. So in the first camp, we really introduce them to digital story making. Uh, in level 1, there are going to be 3 camps, and in each of the camps, the children, are going to create a story per camp. Yes. And if that sounds a little bit too much, the first day, the first camp will give you an insight into it. So we introduce the concept of storytelling, and this is where the role of communication really kicks in. Now, since we're making a digital story, we need a software, and we are going to first time introduce Scratch software to children. And this is where you also need to get comfortable with it. So they're going to start coding. They are making stories, so there's going to be creative thinking, and they are going to be working in teams. So we look at digital story making, pretty much needs the same base concepts as if you were doing a drama. So what you need is a story, a screenplay. You need to know what is going to be the stage, the props, the background. What are they going to be? Is there going to be any score, any music? And then you're going to have your characters in the story. The characters are going to have dialogues, there may be some narration, there may be sounds. The characters are going to be in their different costumes, they're going to gesture, they're going to act on the stage, they're going to come and go off stage. And these are the elements we'll pretty much see how to do so in Scratch software. So let's hop over to the software. So Scratch software has been made by the MIT media team, and this is purposed towards children learning to code, learning to develop their logical thinking, and being able to create stories, games, and stuff like that. Animations, basically. So there is an online version available, scratch.mit.edu, and there is an offline version available. So this is what you need to download and set up. So you just want to Google on Scratch 3 download, and what you will see is Scratch offline editor page up. Open the page and you will be able to download the Scratch app. So based on whether you're on Windows, Mac OS, you'll download the relevant software. We do prefer and recommend you getting a Windows system as far as possible so that children become comfortable to one kind of use of software and computer. So currently Scratch 3 .x version is the latest, and that is what you will download. So once you've downloaded it, this Scratch desktop icon, once you've downloaded and installed it, this icon will show up for you. So we are going to launch it. Okay, so this is the software. So let's look at all the elements we spoke about. So story, we need a story, and we are going to have a story ready for each of our camps. Once we have the story, we need to know what kind of backgrounds we need. So let's look at the Scratch software and different elements of it. So we'll start right at the bottom, rightmost. You see here, stage, backdrop. So this is the section where you really get a backdrop. Now, what Scratch does is it provides its own Scratch library. So you can choose backdrops from there, or you can create your own using the Paint editor with Scratch, or you can upload backdrops from, you may have created them elsewhere, or you maybe have made them available elsewhere, and you can upload them. So let's just start with choosing a backdrop from the Scratch library. So let's pick up outdoors and let's pick up a boardwalk. So now you see we've imported a stage, and let's see what kind of properties the stage has. Now this stage, if you come to the leftmost panel, you can see 3 tabs: code, backdrop, and sound. So basically backdrop is where it will show up, right? And as you add multiple backdrops, they all are going to show up here. Right? So that is the first thing, having scenes, having a prop for your story. Now the next thing is you need characters, and this is where this section is going to be relevant. Now a character in Scratch is known as sprite. So you can see that as we loaded a new project, it came with known as a Scratch cat. This is the default cat which gets loaded. We don't need it, so we're going to remove it. Now we're going to choose a sprite. So similarly, there is a digital library for characters, or you can create one on your own, or you can upload one. So I'm just going to go for this session and choose a sprite. So I'm going to choose people, and let me choose Avery. Okay. Now let's look at what are the static characters Avery has, or any character has. So the name of the character, you can edit it, change it. Then the location settings. So as you're doing a play, you need to know where you're going to stand, right? Like in scene 1, who's going to kind of stand where, how you're going to do the movement. So all that, the initial static setting is done using X and Y coordinate right here. But remember, all this will need to be coded in the story. But these are the static initial settings. So if you just look at 0 and 0 to give you a sense of the coordinates, it's right the center of the screen. So this is basically the execution screen area. Whatever you do, and this is where you'll be able to see it, both static and what you've coded. And then when you move left, you will see the X is going minus, and when you go right, it's going plus, and similarly Y, as you come down, it's going minus. It's the basic geometry. Now, the other thing you can do is you want to decide whether the character is going to be in a particular scene or not. So there is the show or the hide. And then this is something which you don't really do in a normal real play, but you can do in a digital setting, that is setting the size of the character. So you can make it small or you can make big. Direction is something again, but this is not so applicable to characters which are humans or animals. This is more to do with character when you're using objects. So we pretty much keep it upright and straight at 90. So these are the static settings one can do with a character, and as you upload more character, I'm going to upload just one more. Let's get the ballerina in. So you see one difference like between the stage and the characters. In the stage, you see one stage here, and you really have to go to backdrop to see all the stages you have, right? Versus in the characters, every character is its own. So what it means is every character has its own costume tab, and the most important tab which you're going to be using to code is this central white screen. Now this is very, very key. The biggest issue in learning for the first timers, anybody who's getting introduced to programming, is this concept of being able to do it for an object. So Scratch does use the concepts of object-based programming. So basically, if you're coding something for Avery, it all needs to happen after having selected Every. If you're doing something for ballerina, it must happen in this area. And if you're doing something for backdrop, when you select it, you can see the backdrop coming in. It is one common area for all the backdrops. Now let's look at, for the characters, we said there's going to be costumes and gestures. So now one big difference between the real life and the digital scratch software is the way the word costume is used. So in the real world, if you were standing and if you're sitting down, these are your just positions or gestures. Only if you're changing your get up, your clothes, we call them costumes. However, in Scratch, everything is a costume, right? So every putting her hand up is a costume, putting a hand at the back is another costume. If she also change her clothes, it would be another costume. So everything is pretty much a costume. Um, if you want Avery to say something, this is where you're going to record her sound. Now, remember, if you record every sound under ballerina here, it's not going to work, and there's no easy way to really copy paste the sounds across. Okay, so make sure that you'll have to keep reiterating this to children. Now, in the code section, this is the first camp, so we are only going to focus on a few elements which children need to be able to create their first digital story. The focus of the first digital story is really to build a lot of enthusiasm with the children. So they're going to be using e-scene, get a few characters and really do dialogue. So they're going to talk to each other. So here's an opportunity where children get to record their own dialogues. They do the dubbing and they hear it play out. So that's how this is structured. So what are the elements you need? The first element you really need to introduce and know is about events. Because if you look at a real life play, whenever it has to open up, there has to be some kind of trigger to make it happen, right? Like nobody just comes and starts acting. Right? So either there's going to be like a curtain raiser, or there's going to be some anchor, some master of ceremony is going to come and announce that this place coming up. So for Scratch software, the event which makes it happen is this green flag. Okay, so when you click it, your digital story really starts to play out. That means the code starts to get executed. So your first thing is when green flag clicked. Now, when green flag clicked, this is your first line, and what you would want to do here is being able to position your characters. And this is where your go-to block comes in. Now, go-to block takes x and y as the coordinates, which you can see is same as here. So if you want to position Avery here, you can see that the go-to block has taken the coordinates, the new coordinates of Avery, and now you can just pull the block. The code did the blocks just like any block of physical blocks, right? They just get connected to each other. So when green flag clicked, we want Avery to be positioned at this location. So now when you click on this, she will always start from there, right? Now, the other thing which you want to be able to do is maybe set her size. So that's going to happen under looks. Everything to do with physical look happens in looks. So we are going to set size to 100%. So now when you click on it, this is how she will be. The other thing we're going to really do, as we said, is have them say dialogues. So let's have Avery come in and say a dialogue. So we're going to record the dialogue. Hey, you are going to conduct the camp with children. Have fun. I look forward to it. And you can save it as Avery welcome note. Now we're going to to come to the code and we are going to use the play sound to make her say this. So let's just put these people somewhere around and I'm going to press the green.
Hey, you are going to conduct the camp with children. Have fun. I look forward to it.
Okay, so you got Avery talking and now you want Ballerina to talk too. So if you come to Ballerina and you put when green flag clicks, you want her to position here. So you go to looks, sorry, you want to position her here. So you come to motion and you use go to block to make position her here. And now you want to record the first sound for her. So let's record. Hey, Avery, thanks. Yes, I look forward to the camp too. So this is saying hello. Now we're going to come code and we are going to do play sound. Okay. Now this is something which is going to help us understand the next thing we're going to teach the children, the most important thing for making dialogues in some order for the digital story. So now when you play this,
Hey, thanks. Yes, I look forward to the camp too. Camp with children.
So you saw that how both Ballerina and Avery are talking together. And the reason is because both the dialogues have been given for the same event. That is, when green flag clicked, we are asking them to say their dialogue. This is the same thing when if you do in a real world, right? In the drama, if you have three characters and you tell them, oh, just as the curtain opens up, go up and speak. So this is what will happen. What you actually need to do is tell them that, okay, this is the first person who's going to speak, the other two people have to listen. And only when the dialogue is over, they will know in which order the next dialogues will come. So this is the sequencing which they need to do for this story making. And this is where the second most important event is going to come up. That event is around message. So there are two messages which are used, so broadcast message and receive message. So this is the pair which is used to really help synchronization. So in this case, what we are going to do is Avery, after she has set her dialogue, she's going to be like, okay, I'm done and I'm going to broadcast a message. You can give any name and number to your broadcast message as far as you know which one it is. And now Ballerina, what she's going to do is she's going to receive this broadcast and then only she's going to say her sound. So let's see how it sounds.
Hey, you are going to conduct the camp with children. Have fun. I look forward to it. Hey, Avery, thanks. Yes, I look forward to the camp too.
Yeah, so that's pretty much our story. And now you have to continue saying, so there are 10 dialogues between them. So basically, every time now Ballerina has finished her saying her dialogue, so she broadcast a message to this time. And now Avery is going to receive message 2. And let's see, she moves 50 steps forward.
Hey, you are going to conduct the camp with children. Have fun. I look forward to it. Hey, Avery, thanks. Yes, I look forward to the camp too.
Right on. So here is a quick introduction to the story. These are the skills that children are going to learn with you. So what I would encourage you to do is just create a little set of story in which you would want to have 2 to 3 characters and just have each of them say a few dialogues in some sensible order that you have a story. You all set and see you at the camp. Bye bye.